your smile used to light up the room, but now that you're gone, it's hard to move. You left in a whisper, and we're sad now, but we're gonna celebrate you. So fly high. You were to die for, to die for. Can't believe that you're gone. To die for.
Hey y'all, it's Long Live the Arts. We're here Thursday on the Taboo Tuesdays host, as well as back in the same studio, same day, same clothes with Karmel The Poet. I'm going to shout out to our sponsors real quick. Bangin' 832 Radio, bangin832.com. You can catch past episodes of The Daily Smoke at 7 p.m. on Sundays. Shout out to Tamia's Touch of Care Massage Therapy. To get with life, get a massage. You can visit TamiaAnderson.com.
Don't touch my body.
South Park Coalition 35th Anniversary Concert this Saturday, 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. at the Scout Bar, 18307 Edgar Bay Boulevard in Houston. Tickets at Eventbrite. You can still get your tickets for $25 pre-sale or VIP for $50. If you wait to get it at the door, it's only general admission available for $30. Make sure you check out the Buy Black Marketplace Ultimate Pop-Up Experience every first and third Saturday at the Shrine of the Black Madonna. You can check out Zenashe, Zenergize Your Life, get plenty of guppies and other incredible artists who handcraft or orate their art. You can also support Black-owned businesses that are in our community, sustained in our community, by our community, because we buy Black every first and third Saturday from noon to 6. Go to thadailysmoke.com for more information on all our affiliates and sponsors, and please hit that Cash App $TD Smoke. If you appreciate what we give you, show us. Long live the arts. We back in the studio, didn't even leave. It's been like 2 minutes, but now that we're shifting, I want to show you something.
Okay.
I'm going to count you into a deep breath, and you're going to do what I say. You're going to inhale for a count of 3.
Okay.
At my pace. It's deep and slow. And then you're going to slowly exhale for a count of 7. All right. 1, 2, 3. Take a deep breath in. And slowly exhale. How do you maintain your mental health wellness with all the things you have experienced as an artist?
I isolate a lot. I'm also really particular about like what events I give my time and my attention to. Um, I don't go, I mean, I love my city and it's a lot of opportunities for, shows and open mics and whatnot. Like at one point I know that there was pretty much something going on every night of the week. I don't do all that. Once a month, maybe. Because I have to focus. I got the day job and I've got projects that I'm working on. So to maintain my mental health, I have to make sure that I give my time and attention to the things that are important and that aren't draining.
Okay. So I have a few questions of side notes. So on Long Live the Arts, of course, we expose you to things that may, sting a little bit. But some things that we know will continue to ring because some people have no longer walked this earth, but their words and their music and their artwork, it still resonates. And like sometimes you just need a little resin to keep the content of it to be maintained. I know for me, I appreciate those who have taken time to document their experience or even project a manifestation of how it can go. And for the community of Houston, like our poetry guild has literally gained a new ancestor, and it's been a very healthy experience. The tools that I have acquired as a creative just by knowing and being exposed to people who know what to do and how to go through things, I don't feel the absence of peace, even though the absence of breath has existed, right? And so we have opportunities to continue to say her name, Sean Johnson, to die for, we love you. And we have opportunities not to have moments of silence, but to keep speaking on the ways that you can still buy her book, because All My Heroes Were Assassinated is an incredible book to buy and to let her live forever. And you can just see the ways in which she will live forever because she left a mark on so many of us. And make sure you check out Poetry Lounge this Sunday, just to get an experience of people who know what to do when they're grieving. Blessings to her family. And at the same time, I have to say, like, I really appreciate being able to ask you questions because you just unlocked another concern, right? Like, okay, so you have a day job.
Yeah.
How long have you been at that particular one?
A couple of years.
Okay, and what field are you in?
Education.
And how do you feel it fills you?
I'm a lifelong learner. So I like to learn because I like to share what I learn. So being in education, so I'm going to badly misquote Ebony Stewart.
Oh, I love you, Gully.
And I say badly misquote because I can't remember the exact question that was asked to her or her exact response, but I know it resonated with me. And it was somebody asked her like, why, something about why she stopped teaching or whatever. And she said she didn't really stop teaching. She just switched her venue. And like, that's my goal, is to be able to just travel and teach the way that I teach.
Yes.
It's why I go to the types of conferences that I go to and take the types of classes that I take outside of my day job. Because regardless to how people feel about the content of my work, it is necessary. And to be able to better educate people, I have to constantly learn as well.
Time out. So please understand that if you have never experienced Karmel The Poet, like, you might not really understand the flow of this conversation. It's happening in real life for the first time because I don't know her. But what's really exciting is that this is a great way for you to understand art. If you don't know how therapeutic it is, if you are inexperienced in the realm of creativity, this might be taboo for you. But what's really beautiful to me is the display of how the unfolding of this conversation is something I have been speaking into existence, waiting for someone to sit here on the couch with me and honestly talk about the importance of educating people about sex, but also understanding where it's safe to learn about it from. Because if you're quiet, I don't see you, I don't go to the club, I don't go anywhere, so nobody even knows I'm a lesbian. I don't know where you go to hang out or be once a month. I have no idea. But when I see you on a mic, I know what I'm going to get. And at the same time, knowing that someone can comfortably talk about coital sex or, cunnilingus or the clitoris and how she likes to have it pressed against her lips, like someone who can talk comfortably about that is someone you can talk to because they're not going to judge you. This is the determinant. This is the clear view picture. This is the sign. She is proud to be herself. And there is an art to speaking. There is an art to presentation. And what I'm listening to is this being talk about how she is continuing to feed her mind, to seek erudition, and to happily share. I would love to talk to you about doing something in October where I sponsor you hosting a workshop. The third Friday of October, I am serious. The third Friday of October, whatever your rate is.
Booked for anything that day. So
Yeah. And if you want to experience the thing I'm envisioning, you're gonna pay for it, but it's okay. It's worth it.
It's worth it.
Your motivation, like what stimulates you creatively? Who do you listen to, or do you only listen to yourself?
Okay. So when it comes to writing, I hate getting into zodiac shit because I love to pick on people who are really deep into it. But I do have to acknowledge that as an air sign, I do my best writing sitting outside when I'm in nature.
In the rain or the sunlight?
I like to be near the water, but I like to have the sun on my skin. But I can take a line from a song and write a whole piece. I'm currently working on a project, a collection of short stories. And the very first one that I wrote, the first line of it came from one of my students. This particular student identifies as non-binary. And they were leaving the classroom and they were talking to their friend, and they literally said, "Somebody called me a girl today and my brain froze." And that's the first line of one of my short stories.
Where can we read it?
I'm still working on it. It is a project. It is a project in honor of all of my fallen trans sisters. And my goal is to release it on Trans Day of Remembrance.
November 20th.
Yeah, but it's probably not going to be this year because I haven't
speak that on you. Don't speak. Watch your mouth. Guide yourself. So the reason why I'm excited about you saying that is September 22nd is the fourth Friday, and we are having a town hall experience with the LGBTQIA plus liaison, Joe Jones, and leaders and individuals who are in our community as a way to bypass the wait. Like, we don't have to wait until November to celebrate. We see you. We want to see you every day. Thriving, being yourself. There is an art to your existence. There is a celebration of your freedom to be yourself, to be proud of who you are, and to form allyship with anybody in the community who wants to know how to embrace you. And even if that means just to stand, on behalf of those who can't. So I appreciate your acknowledgement and the fact that you're in a position where you can instill a sense of peace and safety to someone who is becoming themselves. I think even in my own ignorance, I didn't have a lot of understanding as to how much sex young people were being exposed to even identify as any type of gender or sexual normative. But I really do respect the fact that they can. And that's what's so powerful because, sisters like Monica Roberts, may she continue to rest. we have always been put forth in position where we could celebrate people being themselves. And there's great organizations in the city that know the value of art. The Normal Anomaly, used to do a lot of work with the arts advocate to let us help them curate complete compositions of expression. We worked with Ignited Ink 717, because Ebony Rose is the creative director. That girl is a genius. And I mean, like, I will always celebrate those. Man, I know the greatest people. Our art community is so valuable, and just being able to express. But like, there are opportunities for safety in our community, right? Like, not just, your conceived notions of what identifies as women, but all women. Even our men need protection and acknowledgement that they exist. And we celebrate the breath in their bodies. And so the deep breath is more so because we can take that. Because no one is pressing their knee against our necks. Because no one is having their arm around our necks. Because no one has put a gun to our head. Like, because we live, we will do so artistically, creatively, using every opportunity to express ourselves freely, because this might be taken from us one day and we should live like it could be. That way you're mindful of your tongue. I want to help you finish. Let me know whatever I can do to do that. Okay. Long live the arts of anything you create. I'm serious.
Oh, I know.
Like, I'm telling you live.
Get that out as soon as possible. That lady that was here the other day, it was hard and she deals with a lot of black.
Even if it's giving you what you say, because what you say is enough to document. You ain't got to stop, pause, and write shit. Like, you just talk and be recorded. But there's just so many beautiful things. Like, thank you, Karmel. What is your favorite artist, form of art, and how do you invest in either?
Favorite form of art will always be music. You were asking me about, like, maintaining my mental. My downtime, a lot of time is spent listening to music.
What music?
So my thing right now is I make it a point to listen to a lot of indie artists, specifically brown-skinned queer folk, because they don't get the shine that they deserve. Not everybody can be Lil Nas X, and let's be real, if people could shut him up, they would. So
only because of what he's saying. But the fact that he's saying it and it's being heard, I celebrate it.
Exactly.
But now that you have that access, darling, I need you to do something with it, with intention of knowing it's going to be an investment you'll never see the return on.
So, my current favorite top 5. There is an awesome singer and human from DC by the name of B. Steadwell. And B. Steady, I tell folks all the time, B. Steady lived my life before I did. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of their songs, I'm just like, for real?
And it's on time, really? Right? It's
right.
on time.
Yeah. And Orion Sun, also from up in that area, I think maybe Jersey. Like, their voice is just...
Are they on a
angelic.
Playlist you have?
I have a playlist that is, I call it my rainbow playlist. It's nothing but queer.
Is it on YouTube? Is it on Spotify or iTunes?
iTunes.
Could you share it with me?
I will do that.
I'll share it with y'all.
So yeah, Asiahn. I used to do writing prompts, sensual Sunday writing prompts, and one of my writing prompts was...
Would you be so kind as to begin it again, or at least tell us where they are so we can revive them? I mean, because, Long Live the Arts means we still...
They're on Twitter. They're on Twitter.
And what's your Twitter feed?
Just KARMELPOET. Like, that's my social media all across the board. It's just my name. I am creative in a lot of things except social media.
I would love to help you with that.
So one of my sensual Sunday writing prompts was I posted certain songs, and I said, and the prompt was, listen to the song and write a poem or a short story responding as the lover that the singer was singing to. Ooh. And Asiahn has this song called Drip.
I've been saying that word a lot lately. I think this is so serendipitous. Okay.
and Asiahn is a child of the rainbow, so you can infer whatever you want from the fact that the song is called Drip.
It probably means all the ways you just went.
Tanarelle, and I don't know if you knew Coco Sullivan before she moved to the DJ. She used to do For Love of the Arts, like every other week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so she used to have a studio, Flow Studios, and she had her grand reopening, and I went to it, and there was somebody there. I don't even remember who this person was, but we were all talking about like different indie artists that we listened to.
Mm-hmm.
And this person introduced me to Tanarelle. If you are watching this, thank you. Because
Staggered.
that, oh boy. First of all, God smiled on the world when he created that woman.
Pause. Pause. That kind of compliment requires a deep breath. Like a real one. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale.
So to say that this person is easy on the eyes is an understatement.
Okay.
And then their voice is just heavenly. And I don't know of any of her songs that I don't like, but my favorite is Boys Like You. Because yes, please like boys like me, please.
Yes.
And that's four. So fifth in my current top five is Dva Selah, and I always feel like I'm mispronouncing that, but they supposedly they were in a Netflix series called Sex Ed or Sex Education or something like that, but they also do music, and they have this song called Sugar Mama.
Ooh.
And it's hilarious. Because the first line is, I have this friendly neighbor. She wants to be my savior. Hilarious. So those five are in constant rotation. They're on multiple playlists that I have on my phone. And in all honesty, if you've ever rode with me or been in my presence, you are probably tired of hearing them. Sucks to be you.
That's amazing. You know what? In all honesty, you got to say, like, I truly appreciate the way that you support artists. Independent artists are the ones who are still passionate. They're still passionate. They're still active. They're still going. And even when they think they stopped, they experience life in a very creative way.
Yep.
You know, as someone who works for a company that is not hers in just a space of time, the fact that you give a third of your waking day, maybe longer, to them, do you feel you are paid at the rate of a value that you find to be sufficient? Or is it just something you accepted to invest in what you're doing to further your progression?
Eventually, I will be able to travel and perform and teach on my own without having to punch a clock or work for other people. I will forever be an educator. I just won't have to worry about keeping my form of education within a certain parameter.
Have you ever experienced discrimination at work? There's an art of transparency. Let's just create that right now.
I have worked for multiple educational institutions, that I no longer work for. And one of them, my contract was terminated because I am quite outspoken when it comes to certain things. Another one, like, people like to act like homophobia isn't that big of a deal, but for one, it keeps people from being their true selves.
Yes.
Because you are forced to decide whether or not you want to exist as you are, as you truly are, or if you want to pay your bills. And so, yeah.
Okay.
There was a school that I worked for, and at one point, it was quite possibly, in my opinion, like the queerest school in a certain area. By the time I left, there were no openly queer people on staff. None.
Wow.
They had all either quit or found other opportunities.
Nobody complained or said anything?
We all just left.
Okay. What about racism?
Woo! That same campus was also quite anti-Black.
Okay. Nobody said anything, just left.
Just
So I'm going to share something with you. Me personally, I don't think it's fair to ask you to be naked and not expose my skin to. So in my experience in working with large corporations, I've experienced for the very first time things that I'm just like, what the fuck? What's happening here? I have always been very passionate about advocating for people who live different lives than I do because I understand it's different. And I think it's really important that I have opportunities where I can execute the mission of carrying out what was written, because if you say you do this, you should. And as long as I'm saying it, we're gonna. But I worked for FedEx for almost 8 years, and at the end of my career, I was awarded the Humanitarian Award for service I had rendered after Harvey and Isaac and all the storms that took place within a time frame of 2 weeks in August 2017. And literally the process of that experience showed me how much capacity I have to get through things, to solve the problem, but then to also remember, just because I operate mostly out of spirit, I still have that human experience, man. That experience took me from me for a spell. And in that experience, like April 25th or 4th or 5th was my last time on a stage, because I said I couldn't keep speaking in rooms where my words would die in them. I mean, like, in hindsight, I'm seeing that maybe I had so many people stuck on paying attention. They didn't want to interrupt the flow, so they listened. And I'm grateful that you took that and did something with it. But there was so much more else to do. And I just felt like it was a disservice for me not to be poured into too. So I stopped. The very next day I go to work. I had received approval from legal to post these flyers as I'd gone to Pittsburgh. My name was on a jumbotron at the Steelers Stadium, like Tiffany Scales, Humanitarian, FedEx round, like, wow. And I told them, like, y'all celebrate Pride in 4 cities, and Houston's bigger than all of those put together. And it's the 50th year. Can we do something? They awarded me a budget of like $3,000-$4,000 to do it, which was just enough to get things to throw, to give out, the fees to get in the festival and all the vendor stuff. And literally, when I tell you it was the most humiliating experience, not only did my coworker rip the damn sign off the wall and put it in the trash and proceed to tell people how I was going to burn in hell, and she literally stopped feeding me. This old lady was like 60 something, the preacher's wife. Her name is Brenda Washington. God bless you, boo. But like, it was the most heartbreaking experience, because she was feeding me like every 2 weeks, bringing me some greens and her love food, her soul food. And when she learned that I like to do things with my mouth that she didn't agree with, I became a spawn of Satan. And not only was it the most debilitating experience to witness because it came from one person, it came from a dozen. I mean, like, literally, I sat in a room where people drug their chairs from sitting next to me on tile floors because they thought if I touched them, they might catch it.
Oh
Like,
yeah, the gay is contagious. Y'all ain't know?
it is insane. And I went to HR. I went to every single gay person I had access to that I built up. I initiated engagement at this company, right? Like literally they said we care about the communities we live and work in, but y'all was never present doing anything. So in 2013, I did 65 community events. I'm the reason why there's an engagement representative at every station in the Gulf Coast District. And I'm just like, wow, my boss like 2 Fridays ago told me that I quit the engagement team because I had a problem with somebody and I don't take feedback well. And I'm like, no, I quit the engagement. No, I was expunged from the engagement team because that person is over it. And literally the things that matter to me that I want to pour into, I'm not able to at work because you have your thumb on me thinking because I'm the only person in this room who looks like me, I have no voice and I'm going to be quiet. I am an artist. I am the fucking wordmatician. I will talk about your ass so hard and never speak your name because you don't deserve the spins or the mention. But I know that there are people who are trying to get through their days. And so having someone who can articulate the same, like, how do you get through your day knowing that someone limits you because of how you look, the hue of your skin, or the fact that you didn't have the same spoon that you fed from, but you still can feed yourself? Like, how does that work for you? Because you got to do it out loud. Because there's so many people who don't know. Because I promise you, up until I realized I didn't.
For me, this is, so I have a friend and I absolutely adore this person, care about them greatly. And they tell me that because of the company that they work for and the position that they want in that company, there are a lot of things that they deliberately do not do. They are also a children of a rainbow. They have a spouse that's non-traditional, and that is the limit to how they live outside of the box. Everything else is very conservative, very buttoned up.
Okay.
And I think about that quite often because that's one person that I know. There are so many other people who won't even go as far as to love someone the way they want to. You know, the fact that this person even has a partner that's not a traditional partner in the American sense of the word is enough for them to be held back.
Yeah.
So for me, I focus as far as my current form of employment goes. I focus on the fact that for right now, I have to have a roof over my head. I have to have food in my refrigerator. Until I am able to release my books and do what I need to do so that I can not have to worry about being under someone's thumb.
What is your preferred form of support?
Cash works. Cash
What
is always
form
good.
of support do you use for people to funnel their money to you to help you get to the place you're supposed to be so you're no longer in this current state of space for currency?
I tell folks all the time, buy a book.
How can they buy your book? Where? Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your website? Where do they go?
Please don't buy anything of mine from Amazon. The books market for $15. I literally get $1.73. You can message me. You can hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Don't buy my books on Amazon. I don't make, like, most of that money goes to Jeff Bezos to make another space shuttle dick to go out to the moon or whatever. Don't do that.
Buy direct. KarmelPoet.com.
Can't afford that right now.
Okay, wait, pause. If y'all want her book and you want to hit me up, just let me know. Leave a comment. I will get you information on where to go. But I promise you, the third Friday of October, there'll be a book signing.
There'll be a book signing. Okay. I'm just gonna do what I'm told. I'm gonna be a good little boy and do what I'm told.
When's the last time you went to open mic and listened?
I always listen. That is, I will say this.
You know what? You're not lying though, because I remember like watching you actually sit there and listen to people on the stage, and then after you performed, you stayed. Back in the day, that's not how it happened. Okay, back in the day, I'm talking like 2010, Secret Word, Mama Neff, Love You Boo, and we're sitting up here, you know, just doing the damn thing. Like Sean Johnson and me had an open mic for kids. We had pajama nights on Fridays, movie nights. Cayenne the hottest, aka Oh Yeah Remy, would come up there with her babies, and they like grown now. It's crazy, but the quote unquote vets would only come in
Spit and
like
leave.
spit and go. And I always had this perception of them like they sucked. But they went everywhere. Like, man, our city used to be so saturated. There was at least 3 to 4 shows a night. These vet poets had learned how to dip and go. And they would literally be at everybody's show just long enough to give them something. Like, so I think over time I grew to really appreciate the fact that the gas was not as high as it is today, right? And I mean, like, literally, I got to a place where I was like, okay, well, hold on now, because you missed a line. I know that poem by now. You done said it 5 times. And I was not getting fed because I'm like, well, I'm freestyling. Like, I'm giving y'all free game, but you ain't even appreciating enough to stay and listen to it. Lord help it. But at the same time, like, I really do appreciate the fact that we're veterans too. We some combat veterans. We literally got on the stage and talked about the things that we went through. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I forget. What's your biggest hardship you've overcome?
In life or in poetry?
Bro.
Biggest hardship in life. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest hardship in poetry, being an erotic poet and not receiving the same love for my city that I have for it.
Now y'all know that's not the first time you've heard a creative say, I get more love when I leave. But I also know that sometimes when you have access to something so frequently, it tends to depreciate. Every time you start your car and drive out the driveway, it has literally lost value. And sometimes when you think about the fact that you get in your vehicle and you ride in it, you just rumble through the damn neighborhoods, ribbling your engine, being rude, not to mention you don't consider the babies who walk across the streets. We have to build the bridges to understand the connection of understanding how to detect something so beautiful as a beautiful message. We can paint a picture for you so vividly if you would just pay attention. You are tuned in to The Daily Smoke. This is the People's Podcast. And on this show and anyone in between Monday through Friday, you will bring yourself to the ways in which we are able to sing freely because we are not caged. My boss told me that I am stymied by my dependency of my finances coming from corporate America, and I'm angry about it. Told me that he feels like he is keeping a bird in a cage and I need to sing freely. And I'm just like, pray tell. How does one do that? Because my rent is $1,631 for an 811 square foot shoebox, but I feel safe in it. And this is One Safe Houston, and I live alone. So if anybody knows the way in which I can let just myself go and be completely supported, like sponsored, where you at? Because I want you to be fed. I will give you these words so easy and so freely, but there's no reason why I should have to be uncomfortable going to work, being uncomfortable. And so there's a way to do this. And for me, I'm looking at the tools I have. Like, for one, I'm like, I got to get this playlist because not only do I want to support the artists that you think are fire, because if you think they fire enough to talk about them, clearly they're fire. And at the same time,
we'll have the list on it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to y'all check the notes and stuff. But like, what's really beautiful to me is the fact that I have something else to add to list of things to do to maintain my peace. So when I ask questions, it's not because I'm being nosy. I'm learning. And I'm exposed to something that I know I need so I can help somebody else when they go through things. Live by Being was on, last week. And it was just really, really incredible because Kennedy has been curating the ways in which to truly appreciate a deep experience. taking a bubble bath or a milk bath and breathing it in. I mean, she literally has intentions placed in every scoop. It's amazing. And just thinking about the ways in which we can truly have a beautiful compilation if all the creatives who create admitted what helps them stay in that space, because ain't no such thing as writer's block. I understand it was one of my open mics back in the day, and so was food for thought, and there's even ego that strums the keys of those who know that those things came first. But see, you had to learn how to quench your thirst and understand how much work you had to put in to protect your shit. Intellectual property is one thing, but if you don't even have the documents to prove it, what the fuck are you doing? When you say you teach, do you cap the education, or do you only expose them to what they ask for, because that shows you're not wasting your time?
During my day job, I do what I'm paid to do. When I am performing, the teaching that I do when I feature, when I even in an open mic setting, even if it's just a one and done situation, there, if you are open to and listening, there's a lesson. There's always a lesson. And again, sex is something that people don't like to talk about, and so a lot of people miss the message because they can only hear it at their own comfort level.
Oh, of course, of course. How comfortable you become is how often or frequent you come, and how safe you are when doing so. How frequent do you come and allow yourself to be seen in that capacity of vulnerability?
Vulnerable? Yeah, we don't do that around here.
No?
Um,
Oh, those who can't teach. I get it. No shade, just jokes, but still, it flowed.
no.
Do you seriously not?
I have my inner circle,
Okay.
you know, and between my inner circle and my therapist, I am constantly being told to branch out with what I share, because I'm very intentional about the erotica.
Okay.
But I write everything.
Oh, I believe you.
I tell folks all the time, I write life. I focus on the erotic.
That's why you buy the book.
Need to.
That's why you buy the book. That's why you buy the book.
Yeah, I focus on the erotic because we need to. It's a conversation that needs to be had.
Why?
Because we are our most honest and our most vulnerable when we have sex.
So I have a statement, and I think it'll roll into a question. Sometimes being intimate is the route. I recommend doing it safely, responsibly, respectfully, but sometimes being intimate is the route. That does not mean you have to engage in sex or sexual acts, but it does mean you need to be naked. If you're engaging with someone and cannot disrobe in front of them with the lights on and stand there bare naked and breathe deeply and feel safe and beautiful and seen and celebrated, they deserve no taste, no touch, no titillating thought to be expressed. You must be mindful of how you expose yourself. But there is an expectation that anyone who can bring you to that space has been in that space. There's an assumption that those who can't teach. And some people don't realize how much they bring to the table, because literally, if you can't get past the physical capacity, you'll never really indulge in the bliss of someone's thoughts. So do you consider yourself engaging in the most derogatory form of sex while you're dating in this village, or are there any people in the village that have the eloquence and the capability of fulfillment in the way that feeds you physically, mentally, and emotionally? Is that why you're not vulnerable with them?
I'm not vulnerable with too many people simply because Uh, I'm still getting to that place.
Okay.
That's something that I'm still working on.
What's amazing is the life learner is learning to be exposed, and it's funny because those who have been exposed never even develop the negatives. Any experience that you may have had where someone didn't have the mental capacity to handle what you presented them, or to be exposed to the shoulder lean that you allowed them to experience as you did your Dougie Fresh past the things you face, I'm just like, yo, they missed an opportunity to stay a while and really appreciate the value of laying a foundation, sustaining the suspensions that would keep the structure up, because the insecurity system had been shifted to a place of knowing this cocky tone is not too confident. It is just certain, because the awareness has been present for a very long time. How does art visually affect you?
It depends on the art.
Okay. The art of sex.
Sex is an art. And I'm glad you said that, because some people
Need to know.
just view sex as an act. And there's a difference between an act and art.
Yeah. What's the difference? Help us out. Teach somebody.
An act is just something that you do. It's just something that you do. Walking is an act. Driving your car is an act. Going to work is an act. Art is something that you feel. Art is an experience. And if the sex you're having isn't an experience, if it's just another check mark on your to-do list, then you ain't doing it right. And the person you're with ain't doing it right. Like, I've had partners that I still have flashbacks from.
Ooh, that drip. That drip.
And then I've got partners that I don't even count.
Is it you?
I tell folks all the time, if I didn't come, it don't count. But yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference. And if there's no art to what you're doing, you might need to take a step back.
So if you don't come, it don't count. But how much of you do you expose to be present, to be arriving in a space where you explode?
I put in work. So if I'm putting in work and my body is still not reacting the way I want it to, that's not on me.
Okay.
Because I can make my own legs shake. I don't need assistance for that.
No, we're talking about the art of sex, Los, because sex is artistic, and there is a way for those who are expressive only in silence to make gestures to let people know exactly what they mean. You should not touch loosely. You should go with intention to know that your fingertips are about to touch the skin of someone whose being is being exposed to you. And in doing so, it should be done so with grace or anger, or even the sense of the space in between, because, you know, some people have only experienced vanilla sex. And that alone is a bit difficult for those who have been exposed to more, because it's like, well, hold on, my threshold is deeper. And if you can't even fathom trying to explore, I can't implore you at all, unless I'm bored. And you get bored easily. So maybe those people don't count because they just being exposed to yoni massages. I mean, those things cost. I mean, people are really making money off of yoni massages. There's a website I found today, check my page, where this selling point is the fact that there are stipulations of what you should and should not be exposed to in the process of experience, right? And I'm just like, yo, you gotta see it though. Like, it is unlock the pussy superpower, okay? And this lady is really teaching people how to expose themselves to things and not feel ashamed. And it's like, well, if sex was taboo for you, catch us on Tuesdays where you can actually go through the stimuli that puts you in a position to feel free. But the art of sex is something anybody can create, even you. Romance is not always red roses and wine. Sometimes it's the creasing of your hair and fingertips as someone else uncreases the hard backs of books and lets their eloquence flow because they moan in between the gestures that have been typed or the smudges on parchment pages. there is a way that arrangements have always put us in places to really appreciate the way in which art happens so easily. Like we live this daily.
Yep.
I understand silence. I learned so quickly when I realized I don't know something. And it's not because I asked, it's because when I realize I don't know, I expose myself to the lesson and catch the message so fast. Like when someone told me, I want you to understand my silence, and now I'm listening to you explain to me why you don't talk much, I'm just like, yo, mine be so bold and so blown. There's no reason to expose you to a thought you can't hold. You'll just choke. And I don't feel like being distracted from what I'm experiencing by myself. And so I get it. Like, but for me, I feel like because I can say it out loud right now, how can I not orate the experience? Like just like how you're going to do this weekend. So Saturday you have a great production you're putting together.
Okay,
Is it practice, or are they going to be just doing what you tell them in that moment? Like take me there, because I can't see it.
There's a poem that I have called Practice.
Okay.
It's an erotic piece. There is a couple. They're exhibitionists. They have
Exhibitionists are
people who perform.
She's so vague. So exhibitionists
there are
are
different
those who
levels.
exchange energy in spaces of being watched, whether sensual touch or actually engaging in sex or tantric behavior or BDSM, and they drive off the thrive of someone watching and wanting to do that too.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have the audio of the poem, and we've already talked about like spots where I'm gonna pause or slow down, repeat a certain line or whatever. But they're going to be performing the poem while I'm reciting it. So, yeah.
Have you done this before?
I've practiced before with the same piece, with a different person.
Okay.
But that event, by the time she and I got to the stage, the majority of folks that were watching were a good 10 cups in. So
Missed it.
they weren't really trying to hear no poetry. So I went ahead and let her perform without me. So this time though, this particular event
It's catered to it.
is catered to this.
That's amazing.
Because it's the closing ceremony for what's called the Sex Down South Conference.
Sex Down South Conference.
And the Sex Down South Conference is a 3-day conference created by Black queer women in Atlanta. It's sex positive, it's kink positive, it's obviously queer positive. There will be workshops for whatever your level of comfort is.
Let me ask you a question. Do you know who Vanetta Berry is in ABC Body Art?
No.
She just said, "Ooh, I love Sex Down South. I have been working on going there for a few years." She is a body painter. She wrote that book.
Oh, nice.
Like I'm gonna connect you, because even if she can't get on the plane this Saturday to go with you and like add some color to your shit, I would love for you to do that here.
Man,
Yeah.
Texas is not ready for Sex
No.
Down South.
But no,
I know.
we can record it.
Oh,
we can digitize it.
Yeah.
You can buy the DVD in October at that book release. I speak that art is October. Appreciation Month is October, and yeah, I'm gonna tag you on this text, Karmel Poet.
I want to ask, now, were you always a poet and then went to the erotic, or did you just jump straight in?
I've been a storyteller my entire life. I couldn't even tell you the first time I remember writing anything. I will say the first poem I definitely remember.
Have you always lied, or are you just a storyteller in real life? Like not a liar, but like you write.
No, like when I say storyteller, I mean storyteller. Like creating stories for my younger siblings, for the neighborhood knuckleheads. Like I've always been a storyteller.
Yeah.
The first poem I remember writing, and I've got a good friend, and and they and I bonded over this. First poem I remember writing was a suicide note, like
Pause.
14.
The serendipity and synchronicity of this show on the People's Podcast. I mean, like, think about it. It's September 3rd. We're going to air this, and it's going to be intentional. Thank you for that level of transparency, because this is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. And every episode, I know y'all see the flyer at the end of the show where it talks about the number to call if you are experiencing ideation or having a hardship. But what's beautiful for me is I know art is the only thing that makes me want to live. And so being able to create is a space of safety and healing. So the first poem that you wrote was about suicide.
Yeah.
Was the perspective of someone that you knew, someone who did, or that you wanted to?
Oh no, it was literally a suicide note. It was my suicide note. And you know, like I said, I have a good friend, and they and I connected over the fact that their first poem was also a suicide note, and what stopped both of us was the editing and the perfecting of the poem.
The manifestation.
It was like, you know, by the time we were done working it and perfecting it, like, okay, we don't want to end us anymore. Like, they actually have a platform up where they live in the DC area, where they do workshops. They have a workshop called Writing to Wellness.
Writing to Wellness.
Where they...
Oh, shout out to Women Want Wellness on Instagram. We're doing a really beautiful event in October as well. I would love for you to come be my guest. I will cover your tech writer experience, like, just to be an attendee. Just to be an attendee, and oh yeah, you gotta experience Vanessa.
So yeah, as far as the erotic goes, the first erotic poem I remember writing was sometime in 2009. And
Why you laugh? You went back. Cognitive memory is a trip.
no, it's just that the story I'm about to tell is mad hilarious.
Okay.
So I tell people all the time that I got catfished before there was a term. So
It was on Downy Link or Black Planet or MySpace.
it was actually Facebook back when Facebook first started.
Yeah, we have been there a long time.
Yeah, back when it first started, before it blew
When you
up.
needed a college email to get on it. Yeah.
And so, because like when Facebook first did groups, like, because they started groups and then they stopped groups for a while. And so I was in this group, and the name of the group was literally Everybody Likes a Quickie. And connected with this dude, we start chatting, and we eventually exchange numbers, and you know, start talking on the phone and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was sending me money, sending me gifts, all of that stuff.
Was it a quickie or a mud duck?
Every time we were supposed to meet, he'd start a fight. Every single time. And so eventually I'm like, look, man, like, if you trying to take this somewhere, then we need to actually meet up. Start a fight every time.
But he kept sending you money.
He kept sending me money, kept talking to me, kept saying I was his lady, all of that stuff. And I am a human with needs. And so
Well, you paused for this one? You didn't go supplement and fulfill your needs elsewhere? Ooh.
the
You want, what is
poetry,
his name? Who was this?
I still have never met this dude. Still have no idea what he looks like. Never met him.
You was a
But-
fool.
But, well, the good thing is he opened the door for me to start writing my erotic poetry, because to take out my frustrations of not being able to
Engaged.
physically engage, I started writing. And I am so much better now, as far as the writing goes.
How long ago was it? 2009?
2009.
Wait, you've been writing erotica since 2009?
Yeah.
I stopped speaking erotica extemporaneously when someone hollered out, "Hey, St. John's." I was so embarrassed. I'm like, wait a minute. if I'm the face of my church, like I cannot misrepresent them. But at the same time, being sex positive is okay. And if y'all need to know how to come, like you should ask. I'm not gonna make you, but I mean, we can talk you through some things. And I can point you in the direction of learning how to be more comfortable. And for me, like I teach my clients mirror time. Like don't nobody tell you what you look like.
But
How's your mirror time?
It's fun.
Hilarious. Hilarious. You're hilarious. Okay, so in the sense of reflection, when you're on stage and you're sharing your stories and exchanging energy with whomever is actually open to receive it, do you get tickled by their reactions when they get like, you know, clutch and pearls moments and stuff? Like, or are your eyes closed? Are you caught in the daze? Like, do you even notice? Do you care?
It depends on the location.
Okay.
Because in some instances, their responses feed my cockiness. And
that's healthy.
In other spaces, which is why I don't slam often, the responses that I get piss me off, in all honesty.
There's a poet in Dallas that does quickies, minute poems. I don't want to say her name wrong. I want to say it's Cash the Poet, I think. Either way, I'll tag y'all on her thing too. But you just made me think about it, because like a haiku from you, just 17 syllables, just a couple of thrusts or licks of a lip just to speak that or pen it on a page, I'm pretty certain would keep people dazed. But even in the ways in which like somebody could engage with you on a personal level up close in your face and you still that charismatic and creative, like, do you laugh in their face or do you bite your cheeks and be like, yeah, I got you wrapped around my finger too? I'm just trying to help you out so you know where you at in this lane.
If it's in the let's get to know each other, let's see how we vibe stage, I'm probably gonna be fairly quiet.
Okay.
I was raised by women who constantly said, give folks enough rope to hang themselves. So I'm gonna let you show me who you are. And based on what you show me, you may or may not get what you think you want from me.
Give folks enough rope to hang themselves, but if you're smart, to wrap it around your waist. That way you can brace yourself and tug when you need to. Because if I'm the only one burning on the hands for you, I mean, like, I'm a Christian, but I'm not gonna do you like you are just worth the sacrifice if you're not offering the same, right? So when love is exchanged, you know, say for instance, there's a new person who has come your way and they're just completely enamored by the way in which you have hammered your words into a space with them. And they say, I love you. Do you believe them at the capacity of their intellect, or do you feel that cynicism has completely washed over you?
People love what I can do for them.
Okay.
People love the parts of me that I show them. And people love me to the level that they love themselves. So do I believe them when they say that? Yeah. But I take it for whatever level it's at.
Without expectation. You love me today, I'll see if you love me tomorrow. Got you.
Because you may not. I tell folks all the time, I'm a lovable asshole. I am a very lovable asshole, but I am still an asshole.
And the degree of that, does that mean like you revoke the spoiling that you do in engaging, or like what is asshole to you? Because asshole to me is when you think you're not about to spoil me, you got me really messed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I spoil my people. I spoil all of my people, which is another issue with being poly.
Why are you worried about what they got? Enjoy your lot.
Because You know, folks get real like, I don't want you doing for her what you do for me. Okay, well then I won't do it for you then.
You know, okay, so even with the sense, I don't know which episode it was, if it was Taboo Tuesday, but this one where you said like your person is not your property, but in real life, like, nah, man, nah. What are your love language preferences?
So my love languages, first of all, this idea that you have to choose one is bullshit. Like, give them all to me. But my top two are physical touch and quality time. Like,
That does not mean you get all day. It means you make the most of the moments.
yes, because I still need my alone time. Please go somewhere and do something with someone else. That's not to say that I don't like words of affirmation, that I don't want gifts, and that I don't want you to do things for me. Like, please cook for me. I love it when people cook for me. Just understand that I'm really picky about what I eat. I mean that in all ways.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Don't nobody want a stomach ache.
But yeah, my as far as receiving love, physical touch and quality time. Giving acts of service. Like, I like doing things for my people. And I like buying them things. I like, gifts. So if I know, like, there's a person that I'm going to get to see in Atlanta that I haven't seen since March when I was up in Baltimore.
6 months.
And they like Prince just as much as I do.
I don't know any Prince songs.
And so I was at Half Price Books and found a random Prince album for like $8. And I bought them that album and took it to him the last time I saw him. Yeah.
Okay, so what's going on Saturday when you see them this weekend?
I'll see them Wednesday. I leave Wednesday.
Tomorrow?
I leave Wednesday.
Oh no, yesterday. Wrong show.
Yeah. When this
really
airs, I will already be in Atlanta.
Oh, that's amazing. Look at us speaking into existence and safe traveling graces that you're going to have this incredible time where every eye that meets yours, you'll inhale deeply and remember that you were seen, that you were celebrated, that you bring something to a table that people can feast upon. At the same time, I hope that you can satiate in the whole essence of being able to exchange with people. Y'all better support this artist. Long live the arts of Karmel the Poet. This has been an incredible, incredible experience. So grateful to get to know you on a more intimate level. Every time you hit a stage, get naked. Thank you so much for everything that you have done, everything that you are doing, and everything that you're about to do in Atlanta. Y'all so lucky. But wait till October, because this book signing is going to be a thing. I don't give a shit if you sign the cover before you print the words. We signing books in October. You and me. See y'all later.